I love this so much. It's just so perfectly hypocritical that it's almost a work of art. Understand, I'm saying this as one of the white people that doesn't feel like I have been personally discriminated against because I'm white. But you're not helping anyone when you're making blanket statements. Blanket statement about all white people. That's not gonna help a conversation. This article is a perfect example of what white supremacists want you to be throwing out there. Divisive, all-encompassing statements. Can you imagine if I put out a video called Dear Black People?
What we do here is go back.
Hey man, I seen you on there begging for money, Philip DeFranco? Yeah. Yes, I'm such a fan. Let me donate you money. Fucking failure. Here's one thing to Philip DeFranco. Wanna take a minute of your time to thank your girl for the brains that she gave in bed. While you out by yourself, she running trains for bread. She gives head in a minute for a nickel and a dime. Down in Bankhead, she do that shit all the time. She hits us up with a message and a text saying,
"Hey, it's Lindsay. Phil's gone. Who's next?"
Sup, you beautiful bastard?
We ready to go on? Where's my coffee? Bitches be crazy. So it's Monday, January 28th, and hey, let's start today off in Tampa, Florida, where a 26-year-old Tampa woman punched a horse. In news that'll save you 10 or 20 bucks, do not see Meet the Spartans. Probably the worst movie I've seen in 3 years. It had a $30 million budget, and I think they blew it on coke because they have to have been out of their minds if they thought lots and lots of people are going to see this movie. I did it so I could tell you it sucked. Honestly, go see Rambo. It's a much better flick. It's awesome. But really, I think the only guy that liked Meet the Spartans was the obnoxiously loud black guy right behind me. And hey, that's not a racist joke, you know? You're going to go to the movie theater like 3 years from now and be like, God, damn it, Phil was right. Those black people are really loud, and that's not racist. Okay? A lot of people say, Phil, you're racist to black people. I'm not. I'm like a black guy. I also like chicken, playing basketball, banging white chicks, and collecting welfare. Racism. Speaking of me getting slapped by the next big black guy.
But you're not helping anyone when you're making blanket statements. Blanket statement about all white people. That's not gonna help a conversation. This article is a perfect example of what white supremacists want you to be throwing out there. Divisive, all-encompassing statements.
K-I-T. Yeah. Big cheese. Hey. Come on. Hey. You know what I'm talking about when I say this, right? I know you know. All these dudes be talking shit on all that shit. Whoop their ass. Come what you tell them. Hey. What you tell them, babe? Hey. What you tell them, babe? Yeah. What you tell them, babe? Come on. The show that is the best show. It's not really a show, but it's really talking to a camera for 3 full minutes. Yeah. Is Philip DeFranco just dumb, or is he actually a racist?
DeFranco? Yes, I'm such a fan. Let me donate you money. Fucking failure. Here's one thing to Philip DeFranco. Wanna take a minute of your time to thank yo. Thanks, girl, for the brains that she gave in bed. While you out by yourself, she running trains for bread. She gives her in a minute for a nickel and a dime. Down in Bankhead, she do that shit all the time. She hits us up with a message and a text saying,
Hey, it's Lindsay. Phil's gone. Who's next?
Hop in that window, I got places to go.
hey man, I seen you on there begging for money, Philip DeFranco? Yes, I'm such a fan. Let me donate you money. Fucking failure. Here's one thing to Philip DeFranco. Wanna take a minute of your time to thank yo. Thanks, girl, for the brains that she gave in bed. While you out by yourself, she running trains for bread. She gives her in a minute for a nickel and a dime. Down in Bankhead, she do that shit all the time. She hits us up with a message and a text saying,
Hey, it's Lindsay. Phil's gone. Who's next?
I hate to tell you, man, you should try to lose her. Ain't you wonder why her pussy getting looser? Minute by minute, taking pipes like smokers. Getting stock and pussy like professional brokers. Doing Superman while we super soaker. Gagging on his dick like she wearing a choker. I just figure I would try and give you a warning. While you doing your show, it's FC, she's done.
Saying, first of all, I do not know if Phil had anything to do with the hacking of Young Westy's channel, and I also do not know if he is associated with the people who hacked Young Westy's channel. Now, having said that, I find the unique timing of this situation just a tad bit of a giveaway, since it only comes an hour or so after Sexy Phil commented on Young Westy's video. He also copied and pasted that same comment to my video, which is still up and still available for public viewing. Now, Sexy Phil claims that anyone can Photoshop some pictures of him and he hasn't gone crazy over it. But I have yet to see one Photoshop picture with the clickable link in it. Now that was the key giveaway to me, that the video was real, that the video and the mail was authentic, and Phil was outed, and he has a problem with that.
Hello everyone, I am the Mass Analyst. Well, to start off with, I'd like to comment on a drama that's happening between a YouTuber I've never heard of before named Young Westy, Mean Black Dude, and Sexy Phil. Mean Black Dude. I have had a few exchanges with Mean Black Dude in the comment sections of his videos. I subscribe to him, and I believe that he is a pretty witty guy, a very, very decent guy, and a man of integrity. I have no doubt that he calls it as he sees it. Now, he might not be saying what is absolutely true. He might not be speaking the absolute truth. And by that, I mean he might not be entirely correct. He's telling the truth as he sees it, but anyone can be fooled. Anyone can be fooled. You can be fooled. I can be fooled. Anyone can be fooled. But I believe he's trying his best to tell the story as it is. So with that out of the way, let me get into the drama. A couple of days ago or so, Young Westy posted a video in which he claimed Sexy Phil was a racist. Now, I'm not automatically going to believe Young Westy. I don't know him at all. I don't know whether he has any integrity at all. I just don't know. However, he did post in his video evidence to back up his claim. Now, I'm going to post links to that video, as well as links to several other relevant sources that you should look at now before I proceed. Well, I hope you've all had a chance to watch the video and check out the information in the sidebar. Now I'll give you my opinion of what's going on. First, I must note that Sexy Phil denies emphatically that he had anything to do with this PM. In fact, he says that this was photoshopped. In other words, he's calling Young Westy a liar and accusing him of framing him. So it all boils down to, who do you believe? Was this a Photoshop job, or is Young Westy telling the truth? Is Sexy Phil a pure racist? Well, before going into that, I just want to mention something that I hope that we can all, or most of us will be able to agree on, is that the message itself contained within either the PM or the Photoshop job is indeed racist. The message itself reads, "Only a scumbag nigger would go after a guy's girl, but I will still be making my 6 figs while you are still eating your chicken off your food stamps." Now, admittedly, Sexy Phil was provoked. Young Westy had set up a page, or maybe it was a friend of his, but somebody had set up a page on MySpace imitating Sexy Phil, and Young Westy posted a song to that space, which was extremely degrading not only to Sexy Phil but to his girlfriend. So it was indeed provoked. But if Sexy Phil did write this back, and if it wasn't Photoshop, if this was indeed Sexy Phil's response, he could have responded without bringing race into the situation. He could have said, "Ha, why should I bother dealing with you, you clown? I make 6 figures, I got hundreds of thousands of viewers, you're a nobody, you're nothing." He could have taken that approach, or he could have ignored him. But to bring race into the picture, to gratuitously bring race into the picture, in my books, this was a racist comment. Now, we still haven't established yet whether or not this was a genuine PM or a Photoshop job. But I tend to believe Young Westy for several reasons. First of all, the email is in character with Sexy Phil's video that he made about a year ago called "Racism Can Be Fun." And I'll post, and there should be a link in the sidebar to that video. And Sexy Phil might say, "Well, that was just a joke, just kidding, just joshing guys." But, you know, Sexy Phil is not an idiot. He's not the most brilliant person on YouTube. I don't think he's a genius by any stretch of the imagination, but he's no idiot. He's no dummy. If I were to make a guess just watching his videos, I'd guess he's above average intelligence. And certainly he had to know that people would perceive him to be a racist after making that video of about a year ago. So that's one strike against him. Secondly, in his comment denying that he had anything to do with the recent PM or the Photoshop job, take your pick, Sexyville did not condemn the statement within the Photoshop. He didn't say that this was detestable, and not only is it detestable, I had nothing to do with it. He just said he had nothing to do with it. So one wonders whether he really has any objections to what was said. I don't know. I can't tell. But given the fact that he made a video in the past that is questionable at best, it kind of makes me think that maybe there's something to this accusation of racism. Thirdly, and most importantly, if you looked at the video, there was a link within the video that young Westy clicked to bring you to Sexy Phil's MySpace page. Now, how do you post a clickable link in a Photoshop job? I don't know. Maybe there's some way other than Photoshop. This would require greater skills than I have. I'm not saying it can't be done. Certainly, I'm sure there are people out there who can do this sort of thing. I can't do it. And Mean Black Dude tells me from what he's observed, and I trust his observations, this is beyond young Westy's skill. So those are three reasons why I tend to believe young Westy over Sexy Phil. Three reasons to strongly suspect that Sexy Phil was indeed guilty of sending this racist email. Now, this isn't something that he could be dragged into court over. As far as I can tell, he's done nothing illegal, but it was certainly racist and obnoxious behavior. Even though he can't be brought into real court, he can be tried in the court of public opinion, and it looks to me like he is being tried in the court of public opinion. Now, I don't think, again, if this were real court, I don't think that this is evidence that would convict him beyond a reasonable doubt. I don't think there's enough evidence for beyond the reasonable doubt standard. But there is certainly enough evidence to raise the question. There's certainly enough evidence to bring him into court. Now, if I were in Sexy Phil's position, I would be making a video as quickly as possible, not only denying that I had anything to do with it, but condemning the message of the PM. So, Sexy Phil, I hope you will at least make a video. Tell us, do you think that what was written in the email was racist? Do you think that it was a bit over the top? I know you were provoked, but even still, do you think that the person who produced this, whether it was you or somebody else, is someone who should be condemned? Next, if I were in Sexy Phil's position, I'd be hoping really, really hard that young Westy would allow somebody into his account, somebody who could take a look and try and verify whether or not the email is true. If I were in Sexy Phil's position, and if I were innocent, that's an important proviso that I must add. If I were innocent, then I'd be hoping very hard for some evidence that that young Westy was a liar. On the other hand, if I were in young Westy's position, well, I've just been called a liar by one of the biggest people on YouTube. This guy, when he puts out a video, he gets tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views, and he's called me a stupid, dirty, stinking liar. If I were in young Westy's position, if I could find somebody I could trust, then I would let them have a password to my account, let them look around, and verify one way or another whether I was telling the truth. Of course, this takes a great degree of risk on young Westy's part, and I'm not necessarily advocating that he should do it, because whenever you give your password out to someone else, first of all, that might be a violation of terms of service. But aside from that, if they're not trustworthy, they can wreak havoc. Not only can they read all your email, but they could change the password, they could lock you out of your account, and they could use your account to imitate you. So you'd have to make sure it was a third party you could trust. So I'm not suggesting that he do this. I'm not telling him that he should try and find a third party that he can trust, but if he can find somebody he can trust that has some sort of standing in the community that most people trust to check out his account, if I were in his position and if I was telling the truth, if there was indeed that email, then I would think long and hard about trying to find someone who would back me up. Well, that's my take on things. This has been the Mass Analyst, under and in.
Philip DeFranco, better known as YouTube's Sexy Phil, has been accused of being a racist douchebag. Accusations arise after he sent a MySpace message to a YouTuber by the name of Young Westy. The message states, "Oh yes, I'm really laughing over here. Only a scumbag nigger would go after a guy's girl. But I will still be making my 6 figs while you are still eating your chicken off your food stamps. And if you make another video with me in it, I will have your IP address blocked from YouTube. You dirty fucking nigger." For more in-depth analysis, we turn to a pissed-off racist redneck.
I'm here to answer the question that's on everybody's mind. Is Sexy Phil racist? Let me start off by saying, what is wrong with calling a nigger a nigger? Niggers do it all the time. I was just at the Taco Bell. Niggers were like, "Man, which nigger ate my taco?" "Nigger, I ain't do it." Well, niggers are niggers. Don't see nothing wrong with that. Exhibit 2, okay? What nigger doesn't like chicken and doesn't collect food stamps? While we're at it, what nigger doesn't like watermelon and malt liquor? Okay? You show me a nigger that don't like none of them, I'll show you one of my cousins. I didn't at least get to third base with it.
So you're saying Sexy Phil is not a racist?
Oh, no. No, that nigger's racist. I'm saying he's racist. But I'm saying, what's the big deal? I met him in person. He had a tattoo of a swastika on his ass. I said, "What'd you get that for, man?" He said, "I don't like niggers or Jews."
Thank you for your time.
Let me give a shout out to my ma before I get out of here. Hey, Ma. Wasn't able to pick up condoms, so we're just going to have to trust each other.
We're live. I'm going with it. All right. This just in, we were able to confirm Philip DeFranco is officially a douchebag. More with the story is our designated weird German guy, Hans Fraulein.
Thank you. I just got out of the Philip DeFranco interview, and he does not want the cameras rolling, so I write everything he says down. I start off my questioning by saying, "Mr. Philip, why does you hate on the cocoa skins? Have you not heard the saying, once you go brown, your poop and shaft is more round?" He answers, "Nigga, please. I am so cool and down with the black people. They are so cool. I listen to Tupac every day. Every time I listen to his record, I pour out a little for the niggas that died." I said, "Well, it is confusing because you talk about the chicken, the niggers, and the welfare." He says, "Nigga, please, I like to collect welfare. This is what I do. Don't you see video when I ask for money? I am no good like nigger. Niggers are down with the cause and so is I."
So what does this mean for the Sexy Phil show? And more specifically, the douchebag of the day segment?
Well, that's the interesting part, because a few minutes into the interview, we get a call from the DA, and it has been announced that Philip DeFranco is legally a douchebag.
Now on to a lighter side of things. The Mop Pick Slowdown got this video in a little bit earlier today, and I gotta warn you, it is hilarious, and you might not want to let children watch it because it is pretty graphic as well.
Put your hand out the bag. No, hand out the bag.
Get the fuck on the fucking floor! I'm fucking wild, nigga! I'm from the motherfucking street! Don't put it there! Don't put it! You're dead, nigga! Nigga, you should have stayed in front of Home Depot till I killed you!
Oh, jeez. I just can't stop laughing every time I see that. Both men were murdered instantly, and their family is grieved. Now on the weather with a German weirdo.
Thank you. Our 5-day forecast is a quite gloomy one. It will be raining for all foreseeable days.
If you're one of the people who is like me and is tired of it constantly raining cats and dogs, maybe you should think about going to Club Zanzibar. Why for? Because in Club Zanzibar it not rain cats and dogs. In Club Zanzibar, it's a raining man. Hallelujah, it's a raining man. I know you had it fun. You go to the Germany, you want to see the sausage factory. But you know, you like to see it lot. Go girl, hot. Yes, it's a raining man. Hallelujah, it's a raining man. Back to you.
Thank you, Hans Fraulein.
Philip DeFranco has the power of media because upon him tweeting me those few tweets, I got the most biggest influx of people tweeting me saying all sorts of things, calling me a cunt, pussy, that I'm a liar, that I'm all these terrible things. And that's completely fine, but I want to say one thing, that I'm not going to delete my video. When Philip DeFranco unblocked me, he threatened legal action against me. No, ladies and gentlemen, I am not making this up. But Philip DeFranco said something to the liking of, I recommend you do your research skills on slander and defamation. If I wasn't the next guy you slander may not be as nice as me.
Get the dog! I'm gonna shoot him in his big fucking mouth!